All right. Hello, welcome to this week's episode of CXNext Live. Great to have you here. Thanks for joining. Really looking forward to our time together. For those of you joining for the first time, this is a weekly series we do focused on the world of customer experience, helping all of you out there deal with many of the challenges we're seeing, build a better strategy, learn from real world practitioners. So it's really great to have you here. Excited to spend the time together today. These episodes typically run around 30 minutes. Sometimes we'll go up to 40 minutes, but we talk through key areas of learning, areas of opportunity. Once again, helping you all of you out there that are CX practitioners. We have a guest in every week, and we're really excited for this week's guest, someone I know very well. But we'll be talking through a couple of really interesting things about our event next week, CXNext. For those of you that may not be aware, once again, maybe it's your first time tuning in, we do this daily series, podcast and video series, but we also do an annual event called CXNext. And like many things, we've taken that event virtual this year. It's scheduled for next Tuesday, May 12th. If you are interested in finding out more, if you haven't registered, please feel free to go to cxnext.com. It's going to be an all-day event. We're going to have a number of different exciting things to talk about today to highlight for that event next week. But if you haven't, please feel free to register. The great news is it's free. And so you can join, learn from your peers, learn from other subject matter experts. There's going to be a lot of great content, and we're going to talk about that more in a moment. But before we do that, I really want to thank you all for joining. We get a lot of value out of doing these series every week. As I mentioned, we also have a podcast you can check out. But really our goal here is to help all you out there that are maybe going through a lot of changes of enabling a remote workforce. Maybe you can no longer do things like truck rolls or support your field service teams. You might be switching your strategy, being more focused on digital. So there's a lot of challenges all of you are really facing right now. And our goal is to help you navigate those waters better. The big term we like to talk about is the world of redefining engagement. And that's the theme for our event this year. And we think it's more relevant than ever. All of you, I'm sure out there are really trying to find new ways to engage your customers, engage your employees, find new and better ways of doing the day-to-day work amongst all of this change. And really that's was the driver around this event this year. About our keystone event every year, CXNext, really helping you all out there to redefine engagement. So what I'm excited to explore today on our topic is joining me is Banosian, who is our Senior Director heading up marketing for our Customer Engagement and Support Business Unit. Kara, great to have you here. Welcome.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
So when we started this journey, over 2 years ago, we talked about the value of customer experience. Back in those days, digital was probably even new for some folks. Things like chatbots were still early days. And we kind of dreamed up having this event that was, at first kind of a mixture of our cab and a mixture of getting some important thought leaders in the room. And it's really evolved. So why don't you talk kind of to start out, what is this event and why are you so excited about it?
So I'm super excited about this event. I wore my shirt today to show my excitement and my support for the event. We are not going to have any staff t-shirts this year because we moved to virtual, but I encourage those staffing to wear it on the day of the event. This last year was our launch of CXNext, and it was really how do we connect with our customers and our prospects and get them in a room together, facilitate peer-to-peer conversations, use it as an innovation platform for Log Me In and all the great things that we're doing. And it was wildly successful. We got really, really positive feedback, and I measure success based off of what customers and prospects are saying. And we really were helping people. And so this year we were going down that same path, and then COVID hit, and we had two options. We could cancel it or we could continue with the event. And we really felt like we owed that to our customers and our prospects out there and the people that we engage with every day, because the theme, as you mentioned, has never been more relevant around how do we help them redefine engagement. And LogMeIn, from my perspective, is emerging from this current situation in a way that we have a newfound mission and a reinforcement of the mission that we've already had in place. And we are truly helping people and companies. And this event is just one more way that we owe it to everyone to bring them together, to have a conversation, to talk about, part of it is facilitating that peer-to-peer discussion, but it's also hearing from people who are figuring it out right now and sharing those best practices. And so I'm excited about it. And I have higher expectations this year than I even did last year.
Yeah, that's great. And in a moment, we'll talk about the 5 things you're most excited about. But before we do that, I do want to reinforce the point of, the people that attended last year, gave really positive feedback, and they liked the ability, to your point, to network with peers and learn from others. And I think that's what we try to do on this weekly series. But it's really about, kind of breaking through some of the fluff and kind of the, buzzword bingo of customer experience, and like seeing how people are making that change in their organizations. And once again, I think I'm excited about it because this year it's like we're all living our lives remote. You and I have our own calls more times than we can count every day, where we're doing video chats, interacting. Our employees and teams are working remote. So it's almost, it's kind of serendipitous or interesting that, this virtual event is just kind of a reinforcement of this broader way we work.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
And I think it's also, to your point, lines up really well kind of what we're doing more broadly at LogMeIn around things like how do we enable that through GoToMeeting and GoToWebinar and, our telephony solutions. Like there's so many ways people are looking for new ways to enable work and enabling ways to get things done, that this kind of, is reinforced through our event. So once again, I'm very excited about it as well. So let's kind of dig into these 5 areas. So, we've been doing a lot of planning, been doing a lot of work, a lot of behind the scenes effort. And there's gonna be a lot happening on that day, but what are the 5 things you're most excited about? Let's kind of dig into those topics. Run down that list.
So I could give you way more than 5, but I'll stick to 5 because that's a good number. So the first one, and I've kind of alluded to some of these and what I've already said, but the first is really around the breakout sessions. So we are taking real world examples and we're using customers, and we're also talking about to LogMeIn folks. I think one of the things I love about LogMeIn is we drink our own champagne, and there's some really great examples, and it's so important for companies to do because it's like a test bed within your own company where you have real agile feedback that's coming back so we can help our customers even more. But in this current state, that has also been like a guiding light because we're living through it the same way that they are. And so these breakout discussions are going to center around the customer experience and the employee experience. And they'll also feature some of our customers and how they are navigating the waters today and what they're doing. But it'll also include some of the functional leads within LogMeIn that are also going through this. So you'll hear from some people in our HR department and how connecting with your employees is more important than it has ever been. And so you'll hear from HR, you'll hear from some folks in our IT department, and these are just real life examples of what we're living through today and how LogMeIn is navigating through it. You'll also hear from some of our customers and also on the customer side. So one of the things that has emerged is the shift to digital, and we're all home. I always look for an opportunity to do more online shopping, which this has afforded me, but it's not just about retail, right? Like the digital has become a really critical channel in how we stay connected with our customers and with brands that we like and with one another. And so there's a big shift that's happening there. And so there's going to be a conversation around how do companies rapidly shift to digital support.
Yeah, that's great. And I think we've done previous episodes, as you know, with Susan Treadway, who was one of our lead folks in implementing our own chatbot towards an HR chatbot, Benny. And then also we had Seth Woltz on, who was one of our VPs of our customer care organization, customer service organization. And he talked about how we're rapidly responding to COVID-19. So I think your point is really well taken of, how are we kind of celebrating our own success and using that as another point of learning for folks out there. So I think that's great. What's number 2 on your list?
So number 2 on my list is the showcase. So this last year was an awesome opportunity for LogMeIn to have this platform where we show the innovation and how we're pushing new products into market and listening to the feedback that we get from customers and showing them what we're doing with it. And so, we've had through this entire journey opportunities to kill things, to just say, we can't take that on this year because we're doing too many other things. And I'm really excited that we didn't do that with the showcase, because we eat with our eyes, right? And so this showcase is an opportunity for folks to go in and look at the product innovation that's coming out of LogMeIn. And again, coming back to like where we are right now, how do we help you with technology to support the needs that you have connecting with your customers and employees? And so it has a little bit of a different feel because it's obviously all digital, but I think the product marketing team, and great job, Ryan, leading this effort, has come up with new interactive ways to walk people through using specific scenarios, because you got to make it tangible, right? Like, especially for people that are in different functions outside of the actual users of a product, like, how do I make this relatable? And so I think that's a really cool thing that the team has done this year, is put it into the context of real life examples.
Yeah, that's great. And I couldn't agree with you more. I think oftentimes, new technology or new use cases can be somewhat intimidating. Change is hard. Not even just the technology of change, but the people and the process and everything else. And bringing it to life through real examples makes it so much easier to understand. It's like someone explaining you a recipe just through like a written list versus showing you how to make it. Right. The show me makes it so much easier. And I think it's really fun for us as well, in that, to your point, it often sparks more interesting dialogue. So it's not even so much about like what we show or the example we give is the right example, but it may spark a conversation of, hey, that's interesting, but this is also interesting. And it can also lead to really innovative ideas. So I think, it comes very fertile ground.
Right.
That's great. Okay. So what's number 3 on the list?
So number 3 is the keynotes. We had a series of speakers last year talking all about customer experience and what that means. And so this year we've actually consulted, because there are some modifications we had to make going to a virtual event. So we had 2 keynote speakers this year, Jeannie Walters and Adam Toporek. And they actually this was not planned, but it just worked out perfectly, where they had a working relationship already. And so instead of having 2 separate keynotes, we've consolidated it into one. And Jeannie and Adam have this really great working relationship together. They've done a lot of work together. They have a podcast together. They both have written books, and they really hone in on customer experience and what that means. Part of what I'm super excited about, and this is why we signed them on originally, is they talk about the small micro moments, which one of my mottos in life is it's the little things in life. And that is truly when you talk about customer experience, whether your customer is your internal employee or an external facing one, we'll refer to them as customers. It's all those little moments that add up to something bigger. It's not necessarily those big impactful things. Like, yes, the big ones are important, but if you miss all those little ones in between, then you're doing something wrong. So I love that they have that approach. And I also love that they're talking about the intersection of customer experience and technology, because that's exactly what we're talking about. Like, this topic was relevant before, but based on this current situation, we all are relying on technology to get through this current state. And then it's going to redefine what that means when we emerge from this. Like, there will be a new version of normal. And so what Adam and Jeannie are talking about, and just their expertise in general, is something that I'm really excited to bring to this stage.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And they were the last 2 guests we had on here. And they both bring such a great energy and a great perspective. And I think they both, they very look at the challenges going on, but they help kind of focus us in on where we should spend our time and energy. Because to your point, it can feel like a lot of noise. It can be very distracting. And it's like, what are those little things that can make big change? And so, I'm super excited about those keynotes as well.
And one thing I would add, which I think is true for the breakouts as well as Jeannie and Adam's, it's tangible things. Like, they're giving you an action plan to move forward. So it's not just like you're getting this vision and you're like, that's great, but I have no idea how to get started.
Yeah, how to actually action on it. Yes.
Yeah, like there's a real roadmap to get you there.
Yeah, that's great. Good. Okay, so that's great. That's 3. Well, what about number 4 on your list?
So number 4 is new, and it's something that, in full transparency, we talked about last year, but we didn't have enough of a runway to pull off. And so this year, I'm excited to talk about, we're going to be launching CX Awards. And so this is a great opportunity for us to identify and acknowledge those companies that are truly transforming the way that they do business and embracing customer experience. So, some companies are doing really cool things to connect with their customers, to connect with their employees. They're taking risks, which, by the way, are all paying off now that we've moved to this digital world. And it's an opportunity for us to just call out those companies, teams, and we also have a woman in CX that we're calling out as well that are leading the charge.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I'm super excited about that as well. A big thing, so much of what we try to do in the series and what I think, like, to me, CXNext is really about is really that celebration of success, and that, like, we all can learn from each other and we can all be better. I think, it's unfortunate, like, so much of news today is just very negative and, kind of downtrodden. And it's nice to have these, like, little things where we can kind of celebrate this person worked hard, they made big change, and let's go share that with everyone so everyone can leave, smarter and better. So I'm really excited that we prioritize that work as well this year.
So you are leading into my fifth one, Ryan. And I don't know if you did that on purpose or not, but the fifth one that I have that I'm really excited about is exactly what you just said. We chose to continue to invest and to put this event forth because it gives people an opportunity to connect. So One of the things that has emerged as a theme through COVID is we're all in this together. And, you're talking about the awards and the people who are leading the charge and how do we learn from one another? It's not like we're no longer in this place where it's like we're competitors and we don't want to talk to each other. We're all feeling pain right now. Yes. And we all need to learn and figure out, like, is someone doing something that works? How can I apply that to my business? And this platform, we've made sure that it has functionality where people can talk and people can have conversations. So it's not just one directional. It's, we have networking rooms where, we have topics that we're going to be talking about and really pulling the conversation together, because the huge value in doing the face-to-face event, which we wanted to translate into a virtual event, is that peer-to-peer connection. And so it could be, there's another HR leader who is joining who wants to learn from Susan Treadway. And so we have an opportunity to connect them. It could be, how do we get more exposure to somebody like Jeannie and Adam to talk about, like, I really liked what you said. How do I take that first step? And so I think I'm probably the most excited about this one, is just to really have an opportunity to bring people together to all go figure it out and solve things and leverage one another's best practices. And it could be worst practices. Like, maybe I tried something and it was horrible. Totally. So I want to let people know, like, hey, I tried this. Doesn't mean you shouldn't, but here's where I fell down. Yeah.
Learning from our failures is always sometimes more valuable than our success.
Right.
I couldn't agree with that more. Well, that's great. That's an awesome top 5 list. I'm equally as excited about those 5. I know top 5 lists are always great, but is there anything else in particular that you're personally also excited about or energized that's coming up next week?
And I don't want to forget this. So we are also going to be doing a Women in Tech forum. Yeah. And I thought this would be such a great idea to do tables and a luncheon. And so I'm going to bring their lunch, but that's not the format anymore. But I obviously work in tech and am really passionate about this topic. And I cannot say enough about our team at LogMeIn and our ability to get things done and to not give up even when things get hard. Like, we literally had a plan and we have found a way to make all of these things happen in a virtual space. And Women in Tech is something we easily could have dropped, and everyone had a lot of passion about it. And it's kudos to the team. So we have a Women in Tech panel. And we have speakers from Dell, from Audible, from IBM, and from Google that are all going to be represented and just talking about, how to get through the current state and how to kind of navigate this world that we're in. And so I really encourage folks, whether you're a man or woman, to attend, because I think there's learnings for everyone just from leaders in the tech space.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think also, there's often one of the things I like about being in tech is that we can tend to lead the charge on things. And I think there are great examples of, women leaders who are balancing so much. I mean, I know you can definitely relate with this. And, I'm a dad of a daughter and a husband to a wife. And just the current dynamic of having kids at home and balancing careers and, dealing with all the broader economic challenges, people are having hard times. And I think Absolutely. It's really great that we're spending the time kind of talking through that, and not all of it's easy discussions. In fact, many of it can be hard discussions, but using tech as that kind of tip of the spear or lead example of where, hey, in a complex dynamic world, how are we making it work? And it may not be perfect.
Yep.
And there's days where it's harder than others.
Yeah.
But I'm also really excited that we're spending time doing that because it is very hard. I give every working mom a ton of credit. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah. And there are some good days and bad days, but again, it's a forum. And so I think it's just, for me, I like to be heard and validated and know that I'm not in it alone. And I think that's, it's a forum. And so it's meant to be a conversation and a discussion. And I really encourage people, whether you want to be a fly on the wall and just listen and hear things that are going on and see what you can empathize with and what you can't, or if you have like a real thing you want to talk about, like I really encourage people to attend.
Yeah, that's great. Great. I'm glad you brought that up. And then the other thing I know that just kind of dovetails or builds onto this is that I'm super excited about all the other kind of networking and innovation forums where we have a number of kind of topic areas that you can dig into and learn more. We every year do a Forrester maturity model that talks about customer experience maturity. So we'll be digging on that topic, using AI for optimization. So we're gonna have a lot of different areas where we'll kind of have some folks moderating those rooms and helping to lead discussions, but also there should be some great peer discussions there as well. As you mentioned, really the goal here is helping connect people to others so we all leave better informed and energized to go tackle these big challenges around customer and employee experience.
Yeah, and the last thing that I would just say is, this isn't the end of the road, right? Like this is an ongoing dialogue and there are more conversations that need to happen after this. So, if you are attending and you have feedback or you have other topics that you want to hear about, like let us know, because this is ongoing. And if there's a spot that we missed, we want to know, and we want to continue the conversation there and make sure that people really get something out of it, because I think we're in a position to really help companies get through this current situation. And I speak on behalf of the entire team when I say we all have a lot of passion around that.
Yeah, well said. I think that's like why we do these weekly series, but to your point, it's hard. This is a half hour long. You can't really dig into lots of topics in a lot of depth. So I think that I couldn't agree with you more. This is the start of a discussion, not the end of a discussion. And we're here to help. I think we've been, talking about this term relentlessly helpful, to be out there helping and redefining what engagement looks like for companies. So that's great. Well, I want to finally say thank you for all of your hard work and leadership and inspiration and kind of helping everybody get through these trying times. I know there were probably many opportunities for us to abandon ship and say, hey, we'll just do it next year. But I'm very excited for the event and really enjoy your enthusiasm, and thank you for joining today.
Thanks for having me, Ryan.
All right, great. We'll talk again soon. Thanks a lot. Bye. So for those of you out there, maybe you joined partway through this discussion. This is CXNext Live. It's a weekly series we do focused on the world of customer experience, defining a strategy, building a plan, learning from real world practitioners. We do this video series every week. We also have a podcast, and we were just talking about our annual event. Joining me was Banosian, who heads up marketing for our customer experience and support business. She was talking about the event and the 5 things she's most excited about. And I think, we're really energized for the event. For those of you that maybe haven't heard about the event or haven't registered, please visit CXNext.com and you can find out more, register for the event. It has the great price of free. So there's no real hesitation there of joining. There'll be lots of great opportunities to network, hear keynotes, interact with your peers, and see our showcase highlighting a number of examples of real-world implementations of improving customer experience. So I invite you to attend the event. It's next Tuesday, May 12th. We'll be having sessions for international. There'll be an early morning session for Europe, and then a session that starts around 11 o'clock midday for North America. But please feel free to register. There'll be a bunch of information around calendar holds and what to do during the day. I'm excited to have you all there. Excited to continue helping you on your journey around customer experience and navigating these challenging times. Once again, I think for us here at Log Me In, we're really focused on helping you enable the next generation of remote work, work from anywhere, whether that be your contact center, your employees, your IT support help desk. We want to help you deliver better outcomes for your employees and for your customers. Please feel free to shoot us notes on LinkedIn, Twitter. We're here to engage and help. We do this series every week. We have a really great lineup of guests coming up. And also on our podcast series, we'll be doing a bunch of deep dive interviews with some real world practitioners. So please feel free to send us comments if there's areas you're interested in finding out more. We discuss things around customer experience, the world of visual engagement, the world of remote support. So feel free to send us notes if you'd like to dig into a specific topic in more detail in the coming weeks. I want to thank you all for joining. We really appreciate your time in these very busy and challenging times. So thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you next week at our event. And I want to thank you so much for joining this weekly series. Check us out again next week and beyond. And please take care and best of luck. Talk to you all soon. Thank you.